Welcome back to PSN News. I'm Nolan Collery, and joining me today is Gianna Cutaia, a player for the Penn State women's lacrosse team. Gianna, thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So I want to talk through your lacrosse career starting at the high school level. Talk to me about the recruitment process and how you ended up choosing Penn State.
So my recruitment process was actually very different from what it looks like now. I committed to Penn State, verbally committed, when I was a freshman in high school.
Wow.
Now you can't speak to college coaches until September 1st of your junior year. So a lot has changed.
Sure.
But my recruiting process actually took me by surprise. I was a soccer player at first. Just picked up lacrosse because my older sister played lacrosse, and it was a new sport at the time. And then eventually some of my friends that played soccer and lacrosse and played lacrosse more competitively said, wow, you should do this. So then my parents started sending me to camps, to different schools. But I actually looked at like 9 to 12 different schools when being recruited. But when I visited Penn State, it just felt like home.
Sure.
So I knew I wanted to go to Penn State. As soon as I was done with my visit, I still took other visits first, but at the bottom line, when my parents was like, okay, you need to make your decision, I said, I want to go to Penn State because it has a family atmosphere. I love the culture of the team. And my biggest thing was that if I wasn't playing lacrosse, I would still want to be a student at Penn State.
Yeah, totally. That makes sense. So early in your career, something hit unexpected. It hit all of us, COVID-19. How did you yourself and the team as a whole kind of respond to the whole situation?
So COVID-19 was very difficult. Like, I lost my senior season of high school, and then going in being a freshman with all these different changes and protocols was very scary. We only had half of a season, basically.
Sure, yeah.
We were only allowed to play Big Ten teams. So we played 12 games in total. We played every Big Ten team twice. It was very strict. We had to wake up at like 7 a.m. every day to go get COVID testing. We had to be in pods. We couldn't hang out outside of lacrosse with our team. So there were like times where we were like, how am I supposed to connect with my teammates? Like, I'm supposed to be playing with these girls for 4 years, and we're starting off with so many restrictions.
Sure.
But we made the best of it. We did what we could. We had fun. It was a great learning experience for life, like doing like what you can, what you're given type of deal. So it was hard, but in the end, we made the best of it.
Absolutely. And, sometimes that's really all you can do. I'm glad to hear that you guys were, able to go through that. So another thing that's happened and you've been open in talking about in the past is you've had some struggles with injuries throughout your career. How do you think that's affected you as a player and a person, and what's the recovery process looked like for you?
So it's been a lot with all of my injuries that I've had. I've had 3 knee surgeries in my right knee. Starting my sophomore year of high school, I wiped out my entire knee, had a follow-up surgery, and then my last surgery was actually my sophomore year of college. So it's been a very bumpy ride.
Yeah.
Not what I expected at all for my lacrosse career, but it just taught me to be stronger as a person and know how to handle adversity.
Yeah.
And now I'm better than ever. I'm back out playing the sport that I love. Last year was my first season getting through the year with no injury.
That's awesome.
Which was awesome.
That's awesome.
And it was just really eye-opening. All of my injuries were eye-opening to realize that there was more to lacrosse, but also when I was back on that field, there was a fulfillment of joy, and to see my parents so happy to see me back out playing the sport that I love, just made me happy. So I think it just made me stronger as a person overall.
That's quite awesome. It's inspiring to hear. Genuinely, I do mean that. So you've been here a couple years, and you've got to play with some pretty awesome people. I'm curious, do you have any favorites or any standout teammates in the past or in the present?
I love all of my teammates.
Sure,
so I don't know if I can pick one or two. There's so many I could list off. Right now, I live with 9 other girls.
Wow.
And it's awesome. But my grade, my senior class is especially super close. Kristen O'Neill, Elena Hamoud, and then she's actually a 5th year right now, Haley Ergo. Those 3 girls have been there for me for everything with my injuries and have always supported me and stuff. But like, I can say that about every single one of my teammates. I think Penn State women's lacrosse team right now is very unique because every single girl is close. I have like 38 extra sisters. Like, our team is so connected on and off the field that it's just amazing.
No, that's, again, very awesome. Last season, you guys started off super hot, 9-2 to start the year. I was covering it, and it's so much fun to watch. What are the goals for the team coming into this season, and do you have any personal goals yourself?
Yeah, so for the team, our goals are higher expectations. Like, we set a standard last year to get back to the NCAA tournament because we haven't seen that for a while, and we did. We made it to the first round. Unfortunately, we did lose to Stony Brook, but it's just stepping points, like building blocks. Like, my grade specifically has been a very big presence on the field since their freshman year. So now that we're the upperclassmen on the team, we have the knowledge to teach our underclassmen the things that we've learned. So honestly, to just keep working, a Big Ten championship is in the future. Like, we want to go as far as we can. I think that's everybody's mindset in college athletics, is to be the best that they can, to be a championship team. My coach always says it at practice that we need to have championship mindsets, and like, that's the standard that we hold ourselves to.
Awesome. So one last question for you tonight. You have a pretty unique perspective as both a varsity athlete here at Penn State and a very active member of the College of Communications community itself. How do you feel your perspective on how college athletes are represented in the media? How do you feel like you have that, different perspective than others?
So from my perspective is that I've actually been trying to change the perspective of how college athletes are portrayed in the media. When the media is covering college athletes, we're only covering the athletes that have the big names.
Sure.
And the people that are scoring the most points, doing something outstanding. But every player on that team makes a difference to that team's success. And we are more than athletes. That's like my biggest emphasis to everybody in media, to start finding the personal story to these athletes, because that's what's important. And after college, some of our sports we can't go pro. So there's a bigger picture, and I think the media is starting to figure that out. So I love that I can be a part of that.
It's a really, it's an incredible point of view, and you have an incredible story to tell. Gianna, thank you so much for joining me tonight. I really enjoyed speaking with you. Stick around, because coming up, Brendan and Olivia will have the latest news from across the nation.